So good morning, good afternoon, happy new year, and thank you for joining us. I appreciate everyone taking time to be here today. My name's Mike Allen, the Business Development Director at AIM. Today's session is on AIM's insight to impact, and the goal is to walk you through how AIM's work over the past year is translated into real-world progress and across education, insights, advocacy, standards, and community, and how that momentum is shaping our priorities for 2026. Before we begin, I need to cover AIM's antitrust and collaboration and work product policy, which I have on the screen now. AIM operates in strict compliance with the antitrust laws, and all of our meetings and activities are structured to avoid even the appearance of inappropriate discussion. If any point someone feels discussion may be moving to an impermissible direction, the topic will be paused until guidance can be obtained. This policy protects AIM, our members, and the integrity of our work. And then AIM's collaborative work is designed to produce non-confidential, public-facing outputs such as guidance documents, educational resources, and standards contributions. These safeguards allow members to collaborate openly while protecting intellectual property and maintaining trust across the organization. A few quick housekeeping items. All participants are muted upon entry to minimize background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, please use the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. I will address questions at the conclusion of the presentation, or you can reach out to me directly by email to schedule a one-on-one conversation. My email is on the screen here and will be featured in post-webinar correspondences. And a recording of this webinar will be made available in the coming days. So again, really appreciate everyone joining here today. I know there's a lot of people that might be new to who AIM is and what we do, so I'm going to go over that here just for a moment. So to start, AIM is a global industry alliance representing organizations that use, implement, resell, or develop barcoding, RFID, RTLS, and asset tracking technologies. We have been doing this for over 50 years. Our mission is to enable adoption, growth, and interoperability across automated data capture technologies. We are unbiased, global, and member-driven, representing more than 300 organizations worldwide. Everything we do is grounded in our four pillars, which is education and insights, advocacy, standards, and community, and you'll be seeing that throughout today's conversation. With that, again, AIM is a nonprofit trade organization built on collaboration. By bringing together solution providers, end users, integrators, and technology leaders, we create an environment where real industry challenges can be addressed collectively. Through advocacy, networking, and standards development, our members can influence the direction of the industry while learning from peers and contributing to meaningful outcomes. So 2025 was a year of strong momentum for AIM. We expanded hands-on education and technical training programs, increased advocacy around spectrum alignments, labeling, and digital product passports, and strengthened global chapter activity. We also continued our leadership role in standards development and saw growing engagement in cross-industry groups and community initiatives, which I'll be going over in greater detail today. Much of the information I'm going over today is featured in our year in review, which will be released January 7th, tomorrow. You will be seeing a press release and more information on how to download this document very soon. So please download a copy when it is available. And again, you will be notified of that via email, or you can check out our website as well. Not only will you see the work we have done, but we also had members give their outlook and predictions as to what they see happening in the industry moving forward to this year and beyond. It's a fantastic read and great to have for you to review as you with upcoming travel to maybe like NRF or if you're coming back from CES. So please download a copy when it is available. And with that being said, I did want to briefly thank the gold sponsors for our year in review for their support. Without the support of sponsors throughout the year, the work that AIM does would not be possible. So thank you to Ananix, Avery Dennison, Aware Innovations, Blue Star, GS1, Honeywell, Identiv, Linkso Systems, Omron, ScanSource, Seagull, SICK, Spotsy, Trustwell, TSC, and Zebra, again, for their support. With that, one of our major focus areas has been building practical, real-world AIDC knowledge. we launched the AIDC 101 and AIDC 102 workshops designed to move beyond theory and into hands-on learning. These programs combine classroom instruction with live demonstrations using real equipment covering barcodes, RFID, sensors, IoT, and traceability. These were designed for new employees, customers, partners, and organizations looking to better understand and deploy AIDC technologies. We hosted the AIM Summit, bringing together industry leaders and practitioners to discuss topics such as traceability, sustainability, artificial intelligence, data security, and digital product passports. We also held partnership breakfast and meetups alongside major industry events, creating space for meaningful peer-to-peer networking and collaboration that goes beyond traditional conferences. Throughout the year, AIM is at events and serves our members in a variety of ways. AIM records member demo videos, which is an opportunity for those at the show to pitch why their organization at the show and the solutions they provide. These videos are posted in our newsletter and on LinkedIn and have gotten a strong following over the years. At many of these events, we will hold panel discussions on topics like AI and robotics and AIDC's role with them, or discuss the different technologies and how they all work together to create a more transparent and secure supply chain. Also, many times at our breakfasts and at other events, there will be opportunities for you to share collateral to other attendees. So you can reach out to me about future event opportunities. We currently have discounts to the Manifest event and the PAC Expo East shows, which are both coming up in February. Through these events and educational sessions that I mentioned earlier, we really push the message that regulatory compliance is increasingly digital and data-driven, and AIDC provides the foundation to support this shift. Reliable product identification ensures that every item has a globally unique, machine-readable identity. Data integrity and auditability create verifiable, time-stamped records required by many regulators. As many of you know, AIDC reduces human error, supports interoperability across systems, and enables faster recalls, anti-counterfeiting, and supply chain risk reduction. This is why AIDC sits at the core of trust, traceability, and transparency initiatives. So through this, the educational sessions and networking events that we held, we helped equip people in and around the industry to get a better understanding of this. Not only does it help sell AIDC to potential consumers, but we have been helping those in the industry give a clearer message on the many benefits of utilizing AIDC technologies. I think that was paramount to what we were doing at the AIDC 101 and 102 events with our instructors. So this slide highlights the regulatory and standards bodies influencing AIDC requirements globally, which we showed during those AIDC 101 and 102 events. AIM actively engages across these organizations to ensure alignment, interoperability, and practical implementations for industry. Much of this is done through our industry groups, which I'm going to talk about here a little later on. I also wanted to touch base on our digital education platforms that also help give a better understanding of AIDC's benefits. Relaunched last year was RFID.org, which hosts foundational RFID education, has FAQs on the technologies, videos on how RFID works, and white papers that can be accessed there as well. Our RFID group, which I'll talk about later on, continues to develop content for this part of our website. We recently have expanded the AIM Resource Hub as well. It has white papers, case studies, and ebooks for people to download. I want to also point out that this is an area of the AIM website that member companies can be featured on. If you send us a white paper or case study, we're more than happy to include that on this section of the website. And again, that's something where you could just reach out to me and I can provide you information on how to upload these. AIM is also enhancing our website's business directory for 2026. Then this is where we connect buyers with trusted providers. AIM members can access this on our website and update the company profile to leverage their solutions to those looking for providers. As part of this expansion, future AIM educational content will link to and direct readers to parts of our directory when applicable. So as an example, our visibility group is working on several infographics highlighting AIDC technology's involvement throughout the supply chain. So in this graphic, you'll have something like a cotton shirt's journey from the material start to potentially being recycled. Through this, obviously, there's going to be a lot of technologies used, like sensors in the soil, barcodes through shipment, and RFID at the sale level. When someone accesses this content on the website, they can go through each step of the way and see where specific technologies like, say, RFID inlays or edge software may be involved. At that point, it directs those who click specifically to that technology to the AIM members who actually provide those type of technologies. So they can either get a better understanding of the company and what all they provide, or specifically reach out to learn more about the company. So obviously with this, it's important to make sure you're featured properly on our directory. If you want to learn more on that, I have a PDF and video to help guide you. And like anything else discussed here, you can reach out to me via email to talk more detail on these items. And again, our business directory is going to be a key area in 2026 for people to go to again, get a better understanding of the resources that our members provide. We also continue delivering webinars, podcasts, and video content to further all our educational initiatives. And you can check these highly viewed educational programs on our Spotify and YouTube pages. As I mentioned earlier and will throughout, the tone of our white papers, webinars, podcasts, and anything else is addressing how to effectively use AIDC, because proper utilization of RFID, barcodes, blockchain, IoT, and so on will give you accurate, available, and identifiable data. AIM champions concerns and solutions to industries and governments to break down market barriers and constraints. To do so, much of this is done through our publications and media like our webinars and podcasts. Touching more on the publication side of things, we recently released the AIM Industry Direction Report, released new white papers from our industry groups, and delivered technical guidance focused on compliance and interoperability. These resources provide data-driven insights into adoption trends, investment priorities, and emerging technologies. I'm going to talk some more on our industry research. For the Industry Direction Report, we surveyed both AIDC professionals and end users in March and April of 2025. The study includes 120 end users and 84 industry respondents and examines spending plans for AIDC and broader enterprise technologies for 2025 and 2026. And this builds on AIM's earlier research that was done in 2022. With that, I wanted to touch on some notable changes from the 2022 report to now. We saw significant shifts in technology priorities. Artificial intelligence and 5G rose sharply in overall rankings, while sensors became the #1 AIDC technology most likely to be purchased. Budgets are tightening, with more organizations expected spending to remain flat. Sustainability actually dropped as a primary investment driver, while justifying the business case became a much stronger barrier to adoption. With these findings, we find that they suggest several clear actions. Organizations should prepare for tighter budgets, focus on educating end users about AIDC's role in quality, responsiveness, and compliance, cultivate partnerships in adjacent markets, ensure products integrate into more intelligent, connected ecosystems. And again, all of this are things that AIM plans on working on in 2026, creating more educational awareness about AIDC's role in quality and compliance. We also are working very hard on creating these educational documents on connected ecosystems, which again, I'm going to go more into here moving forward. And with that, there's a lot of great resources within this industry direction report. So if you've not already downloaded your copy of that, if you're a member, you get a free member copy. You can access it through the AIM Resource Hub. The report is the first item on the page. If you enter the special member code, which you can request by emailing me, the report will download automatically. Non-members can access the report for a fee. And again, as I will say throughout this, send me a message if you have any questions on how to access anything via the AIM website. Advocacy continues to be a critical pillar of AIM's work, especially as regulatory and policy decisions increasingly shape how AIDC technologies are deployed globally. AIM plays a unique role in this space by serving as a neutral, technically grounded voice for the industry. We work to ensure that policymakers understand not only what these technologies do, but how they are actually implemented in real-world environments. One very key area of focus has been the digital product passport alignment. As governments move toward more comprehensive product transparency requirements, AIM has been actively involved in ensuring that AIDC technologies such as barcodes, RFID, and smart labels are recognized as foundational enablers rather than afterthoughts. Our goal is to promote standards-based approaches that scale globally and avoid fragmented or proprietary implementations. That's why we had a group of members review parts of the standards, in particular EN 18219 and 18220, as these were considered the most relevant around AIDC as part of the digital product passport, and submit comments, which are being reviewed now by Sinelect working groups. Approximately 3,100 comments were received on the two standard documents, again, 18219 and EN 18220. And the final drafts of the standard documents have been submitted to the JTC and the EU Commission. The final vote is scheduled to take place this year now. So we continue to monitor how this is going, and we'll update members through our newsletter and Membership Monday when more information is available. We also still have an active working group for the DPP, and when more information comes out on the DPP and what's going on with the standard, we'll have that group converge again to discuss that and what AIM could potentially do to, again, make sure that AIDC is involved relevantly in the documentation. We also have provided guidance on QR code security and anti-phishing best practices, responding to growing concerns around consumer trust and misuse to open web link codes. This work helps regulators, brands, and solution providers understand how to deploy QR codes safely while preserving their flexibility and value. Another important area of engagement has been digital and smart labeling. AIM has consistently advocated for solutions that balance regulatory objectives with operational feasibility, emphasizing that interoperability, data integrity, and long-term maintainability across supply chains. Finally, AIM has been actively engaged in spectrum advocacy, working with multiple entities to oppose proposals that could threaten the availability and performance of RAIN RFID. Protecting access to spectrum is essential to maintaining investment confidence, deployment stability, and continued innovation across retail, logistics, manufacturing, and healthcare. Our RFID group continues to monitor this, and AIM actively is involved with the RAIN Alliance and other organizations working to continue to advocate that the results of an improved spectrum change could cause significant interference, in-band and out-of-band emissions jamming receivers for all types of devices, which would profoundly impact the countless Part 15 devices, including RAIN. And just recently, as of December 19th, actually, several lawmakers have called for Brendan Carr, who's the current FCC chairman, to proceed with caution on complementary or alternative positioning, navigation, and timing systems to GPS, warning that certain approaches could disrupt existing critical systems. Again, AIM continues to monitor the situation and will act as necessary as this important item continues to develop. Across all these initiatives, AIM role is not to promote a single technology or vendor, but to ensure that policy and regulatory frameworks are informed by technical reality, aligned with international standards, and supportive of innovation rather than restrictive to adoption. With that as well, AIM serves as an administrator for the U.S. Technical Advisory Group to ISO IEC JTC1 SC31. This group formulates the U.S. position on all work related to the standardization of data formats, data syntax, data structure, data encoding, and technologies for the process of automatic identification and data capture, and of associated devices utilized in inter-industry applications and international business interchanges for mobile applications. So that's the work that our tag does. If you'd like to learn more about the tag, you can reach out to me and I can actually set up a call with several people that can help give you more information on the tag and how it works and how you can get involved in that work. We also provide leadership across barcode, RFID, and data standards. and act as a registration authority for various international standards and industry entities. As you see in the bullet there, ISO IEC 15459 is one of those which supports unique identifiers, as well as supporting harmonized global regulatory compliance. You can see the full list of these in the year in review and on our website, aimglobal.org. So our industry groups are member-driven and focused on real-world challenges. These provide a non-competitive environment for technical collaboration and serve as engines for the white papers, guidance, education, and standards input that AIM creates. A note to non-members on the call that you are allowed to attend 2 industry group calls, then after we need to join to continue with participation in those groups. So to start with that, the Technical Symbology Committee is our oldest committee. It's the one that started with AIM over 50 years ago, and it's always focused on the reliability of quality and security of barcode and 2D symbol technologies, which remain foundational to global commerce. One major area of focus has been QR code security and phishing prevention, as I mentioned earlier. As QR codes become more prevalent in consumer-facing applications, the risk of misuse has increased. The TSC has worked on guidance to help brands and solution providers deploy QR codes in a way that maintains consumer trust while mitigating security risks. We also have created a one-pager to really allow consumers to better understand QR codes and considerations they can take to avoid phishing situations. And as you know, we like to mention, QR codes have great benefits to the global community, and AIM is actively pursuing ways to make sure they are being utilized appropriately. The committee is also deeply involved into the next generation 2D barcode print quality standards. As retail and supply chains prepare for increased data density and Sunrise 2027 initiatives, ensuring consistent symbol quality across printing and scanning environments is essential. This work supports interoperability, reduces read rate failures, and protects long-term investment in barcode infrastructure. The TSC is also now working on a guidance piece so people better understand the new print quality standards recently published for 1D, which is ISO IEC 15416, and 2D, which is ISO IEC 15415. These symbologies and verifier calibrations are also in these documents. This is just another example on how AIM advocates for the use of established standards and items that create more interoperability. In parallel, the TSC continues engagement on UltraCode, advancing it through ISO standardization. These items are addressing emerging requirements for higher capacity data carriers that support digital product information, traceability, and regulatory compliance. Overall, the TSC's work helps ensures that barcode technologies remain trusted, interoperable, and fit for future use cases. Our RFID group is focused on enabling scalable, secure, and practical RFID adoption across industries. A major priority has been the development of RFID security and privacy guidance, addressing common concerns from end users, regulators, and IT teams. This work's going to help businesses understand RFID technology while providing practical recommendations for secure deployment. The group also released RFID tag recycling and sustainability recommendations. We're recognizing the growing emphasis on environmental responsibility. So with this guidance, this will help organizations understand material considerations, disposal pathways, and emerging best practices without compromising system performance. And we are continuing on that sustainability route. So if you join us for a future reg call, as we call our RFID group, we are discussing different white papers to continue work on, especially the emerging best practices without compromising the system performance. So please join us for a call if that's something that interests you. On the retail side of things, another key output has been the retailer-focused RFID FAQ, which we developed in collaboration with the Retail Value Chain Federation. This resource addresses real questions around tag specifications, performance, data content, interoperability, and deployment challenges, helping both solution providers and end users align expectations. So we are currently working on a follow-up FAQ, which goes into greater detail in explaining the retail considerations. In addition to these published resources, our group of the reg is producing educational content designed to give decision makers a clear understanding of how RFID delivers operational value, not just technical capabilities. So we are doing this through a set of videos being recorded that will be distributed throughout the year. Again, you can reach out to me. I can give you a list of the different categories on RFID that we're creating these videos if you'd like to take part in that. And we're always open to new categories that we didn't think of as well to create more education to these people looking into RFID. The Visibility Technology Industry Group is focused on real-time visibility and intelligence, particularly where traditional identification methods intersect with sensors, Bluetooth, and edge analytics. One thing through several industry group meetings that we've had, through conferences that I've been at, is a lot of people have asked what AIM's doing to better let people know about how all these different technologies are working together along the supply chain. So that's a critical mission of this work group. So this group is exploring how Bluetooth tracking, smart labels, and sensor-enabled devices can complement barcodes and RFID to provide more dynamic, condition-aware visibility. Use cases also are going to be including asset tracking, condition monitoring, and location awareness across manufacturing, logistics, and distribution environments. A key emphasis is going to be on edge analytics as well, where data is processed closer to the point of capture to reduce latency, improve responsiveness, and enable faster operational decisions. The group is working on a technology landscape and reference materials to help organizations navigate in an increasingly complex ecosystem of visibility solutions. So rather than promoting specific products, these resources focus on architectures, trade-offs, and integration considerations. And as I mentioned earlier with the example with our business directory, the group is also creating several infographics to help people better see which technologies are involved throughout the supply chain of a product. So again, the visibility group's work helps organizations understand how to move from basic identification to actionable intelligence as well. Community is a critical part of AIM's mission, especially for 2026, and it's an area where we have seen strong growth and engagement over the past year. These programs are about more than networking. They're about developing talent, sharing knowledge, and ensuring the long-term health of the AIDC industry. One of our key initiatives is the Women of AIDC, which focuses on increasing visibility, leadership development, and knowledge sharing for women across the industry. This program creates space for open conversation, professional growth, and peer support, while also highlighting the expertise and contributions of women working in barcoding, RFID, IoT, and related technologies. Through town halls, webinars, and featured content, the Women of AIDC help elevate voices that may not always be represented in traditional industry forums. We've also continued to grow the young professionals of AIDC community, which is designed to support early career professionals entering or advancing within the industry. The group focuses on practical education, career development, and relationship building. We've done activities such as town halls, podcasts, quick guides, and informal networking events to help those new to the industry have access to experienced individuals with real-world insight. If you go to AIM's YouTube page, you can see that we recently uploaded a fireside chat we did with two industry pioneers, Sprague Ackley and Clive Hoberger. They gave fantastic advice on how to grow in the industry and also shared insights on where they see the industry moving forward. These community programs provide clear benefits to both individuals and organizations. Participants gain expanded professional networks, increased visibility and access to information, and a better understanding of industry trends and technologies. For employers, these programs support workforce development, employee engagement, and talent retention, which is helping build a stronger and more inclusive industry pipeline. Looking ahead to 2026, AIM is committed to doing more. We plan to expand programming frequency, introduce more targeted content and leadership opportunities, and increase opportunities for in-person and virtual engagement. This includes additional town halls, more focused educational sessions, greater use of short-form content such as podcasts and guides, and stronger integration with AIM events and industry groups. A major priority for 2026, as mentioned before, is growing that participation. We are actively encouraging companies to nominate and involve more young professionals and women from their organizations. These programs are not just for observers, they are designed for active participation, idea sharing, and leadership development. Increased involvement strengthens the programs themselves and ensures AIM continues to reflect the full breadth of talent and perspectives across the industry. Ultimately, these community initiatives help AIM invest in people and not just technology. They support the next generation of leaders, foster collaboration across career stages, and ensure that the AIDC industry continues to grow in a sustainable, inclusive, and forward-looking way. Our global chapters across Asia, Europe, and North America remain highly active. They hosted regional events, engaged in standards discussions, and coordinated messaging to ensure global alignment while addressing local market needs. Be on the lookout as we'll be meeting in January, all are the AIM chapters, and we'll have new updates on their 2026 initiatives that I'll share via Membership Monday and our newsletter. And again, tomorrow you can check out our year-in review, and that's going to go into more detail about all the work that these great chapters have done across the world. I also wanted to recognize the industry excellence within the industry, and that's how AIM does our awards. We recognize excellence with our case study competition and also through our awards discussing the different technologies, AIDC, RFID, IoT, and blockchain. And I did want to give the opportunity to let you know that we will be having our case study competition upcoming. So if you have an AIDC, RFID, IoT, or blockchain case study that you think might be good for that, or know of one that you think it would be very good for these competitions, make sure to reach out to us so we can include it as part of the competition. So that is upcoming. But again, through the year in review, you can check out and see who won these awards last year. Also check out the different case studies and the different winners to our professional awards as well. So I wanted to talk about some key industry themes heading into 2026 that we see. There's several clear themes that are emerging, and they are closely interconnected. First, there's a growing demand for item-level visibility and traceability. Organizations are under increasing pressure to know where products are, what conditions they're in, and how they move across the supply chain. This demand is being driven not only by operational efficiency goals, but also by regulatory requirements, customer expectations, and risk management needs. Item level visibility is no longer viewed as a nice to have. It's becoming foundational to modern supply chain operations. Second, we're seeing a greater convergence of AIDC technologies with artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, and automation platforms. Barcodes, RFID sensors, and RTLS are no longer standalone data capture tools. They're becoming integrated inputs into broader digital ecosystems that include analytics, machine learning, robotics, and enterprise systems. This convergence is enabling faster decision-making, predictive insights, and more autonomous operations, but it's also increasing the importance of interoperability and standards-based implementation. So we're working aggressively in really outlining these things. Another key theme is the regulatory and compliance drivers continue to accelerate adoption. Requirements related to digital product passports, sustainability reporting, product safety, and supply chain transparency are expanding globally. These mandates increasingly rely on accurate, verifiable, and time-stamped data, which places AIDC technologies at the center of compliance strategies. Organizations that delay in investments may find themselves reacting rather than planning. And again, that's something you can see throughout the products we produced this past year and will continue moving forward. And at the same time, skill shortages across manufacturing, logistics, and distribution environments are pushing organizations toward more automation. Labor constraints, workforce turnover, and the need to do more with fewer resources are accelerating the adoption of these technologies that reduce manual processes, minimize errors, and improve throughput. AIDC is playing a critical role in enabling automation by providing reliable, machine-readable data at scale. And finally, there's an increased focus on proving return on investment and justifying technology investments. With tighter budgets, organizations are scrutinizing business cases more closely. This places pressure on solution providers and end users alike to clearly articulate the value in terms of accuracy, efficiency, resilience, customer experience, and compliance. Education, real-world guidance, and proven use cases are becoming as important as the technologies themselves, and that's where AIM steps in and is providing those things. So together, these themes point to a market where AIDC is not just enabling operations, but underpinning the trust, transparency, and intelligence across the enterprise. AIM's role is to help the industry navigate these changes through the education, standards, advocacy, collaboration, and insights. With that, and to address those themes, our focus remains on expanding education programs, leading in standards and advocacy, strengthening security and spectrum efforts, increasing member visibility, and growing our community initiatives. So how do you get involved? There's many ways to get involved with AIM. Joining the industry groups is a great start. These groups will be participating in standards and advocacy efforts. They share expertise through content and engage through events, chapters, and community programs. So your involvement would directly shape the future of AIDC. And again, if you're interested in joining these groups, please reach out to me. I can put you on the roster or give you more information on AIM and what these groups are doing if you're a non-member. So with that, I have the information on the screen here to contact AIM. Again, my email is mike@aimglobal.org. I know that we have several questions here, and I want to get to those now. So first is, how could we collaborate on traceability education programs for indigenous produce and related value chains? So AIM would welcome collaboration on traceability education programs focused on indigenous produce and related value chains. Educations and insights obviously is a core part of AIM's mission, particularly where traceability, transparency, and data integrity are essential to market access and regulatory compliance. So there's two active groups addressing these topics, and that's the Visibility Work Group and also AIM North America's Food Group. These groups, again, focus on the practical use cases, real-world deployment challenges, and education around visibility technologies across agricultural and food supply chains. Again, as I mentioned earlier, non-members are welcome to participate in AIM work groups and may attend up to 2 meetings before membership's required. This allows the interested stakeholders to engage directly, contribute expertise, and help shape educational content and guidance. So again, we would value your input and encourage participation in these discussions. Just reach out to me and I can connect you with the appropriate group. So another question we have is about our 2 mastermind groups, the Women of AIDC and Young Professionals. Many of the topics are of interest to me, but I'm not female. Can I still attend? Yes, and you can attend those meetings. You can also take part in our educational resources. They're all online as well. Again, just reach out to me. And then with the young professionals, how do you define young? I mean, we defined it more in people that are new to the AIDC industry. And again, it's where if you're looking for new information, if you're looking to grow within the industry, you would definitely fit into the young professionals work group. So how is the AIM initiative to build and offer a generic URI resolver proceeding? Has funding been secured? So as background, AIM serves as a registration authority for several international standards, and I mentioned too in the presentation ISO IEC 15459. This again is the standard that defines the framework for globally unique identifiers and the issuing agency codes that support them. There's a proposed generic URI resolver initiative that's intended to function at a basic level as a lookup system for company identification numbers or CINs enabling resolution and interoperability across systems and applications. At this stage, AIM is actively collaborating with industry stakeholders to define the scope, the approach, and sustainability model for this initiative. And we are currently identifying potential supporters. So we welcome additional participation from individuals and organizations in advancing the project. So anyone interested is encouraged to reach out. I'd be happy to connect you with the group currently working on this. So another question we have, sorry, I'm looking at multiple screens here. As a member, how can AIM help me get the word out about my company? What avenues can I use? There's several avenues you can use for that. We are always, the business directory is probably the best one. And again, we can set up a call and talk more about the business directory, how to log into the backend, how to set up your business directory. Again, a lot of the new materials we're releasing are going to direct people who are reading it to the business directory so they can see the solution providers to, again, I use the example of RFID inlays or Edge software. They can go there and look up the companies that do that. We also do a lot of podcasts where you're going to talk on an educational perspective, but it gives people an understanding of who you are, what your company is, and that you're, a key voice within the industry. Again, you can reach out to me. We could talk about potential topics. And also, again, you can give us your white papers, your case studies. We can include that into our resource hub. So again, please reach out to me. I can help you out more with that. Another question we have is what is AIM's position on the trends toward a pseudo standard in RFID? AIM supports standards that are developed and approved through appropriate recognized standard bodies. As a standards organization, AIM advocates for open, non-proprietary, and interoperable standards that enable broad adoption and long-term scalability. While innovation is important, uh, pseudo standards or proprietary approaches can create fragmentation. So our role is to support the development, adoption, and proper implementation of internationally recognized standards that benefit the entire ecosystem rather than individual technologies or vendors. We had an interesting question. What is one goal each committee plans to achieve this year? So generally speaking, we obviously want to create more educational documents, release, 3 to 5 documents each for each industry group. Again, our visibility group is more on creating more acknowledgement of working all these different technologies together and how they all interact with one another and how they're all necessary parts to the supply chain. Our RFID group is working more on releasing more work within the retail space, giving retail a better understanding of how to properly implement RFID, and then also the sustainability of RFID products. So those are probably the two big things we want to really address this year with our RFID group. And then our TSC group, again, with a lot of the new things coming out with Sunrise 2027, a lot of the new initiatives with 2D codes. It's just ensuring that those 2D codes are properly readable. And again, that's always been the goal of our TSC work group. So another question we have is, can you repeat the names of the other 2 events you mentioned earlier? One of them was Pack Expo East, which is going to be in Philadelphia in February. The other one is Manifest. It's a supply chain event in Las Vegas. If you'd like more information on that, you can reach out to me. If there are any other questions you have, you can send those to me at mike@aimglobal.org. I'd be happy to set up a call with you and discuss those into more detail. If you're interested in learning more about membership, again, reach out to me. I can give you all the information on how to join AIM as well. Really excited for this year, the work that our industry groups are going to do. Really excited about all the events that we're going to be at and the educational sessions we're going to take part of. Again, be on the lookout for more information through our newsletter. That might be one of the best resources for you to see where we're going to be and what we're going to be releasing. And please, again, download the year in review when it comes out tomorrow. We're really excited about what we put together there and excited to share all that information with you. So again, thanks for your time and looking forward to hopefully working with a lot of you here in 2026, and enjoy the rest of your day.